Thank you and welcome to this part 4 of our Acumatica ERP course. In this part, I would like us to cover how Acumatica ERP really works. So this being a complete business workflow for beginners, I've decided to start it from the introduction. So in this video, there will be a bit of practical, so you need to have your Acumatica ERP with you. As I said, I'll be sharing the link to download this Acumatica ERP in the description. And in case you have any query, you can reach me using the contact in the description so that we can organize a session where we can be able to download and install this system together. So it will not take long. It's just like 1 hour. So before we start our course, we shall just first have a recap of what we did last time, where we covered the Acumatica modules. So the modules which we covered the financial module, the purchasing module, the inventory module, the sales module, the CRM, and the project module. Now today, I would like us to focus to focus on seeing how this module works together harmoniously in order to give us a complete business ecosystem. So let us get started. So I would like us to understand that ERP is all about business process flow. So an ERP is not just a collection of screens which you see, as I will be showing you in the Acumatica. It is a transaction entered in one area that affect other areas of the ERP. That's why it is usually called ERP integration. And this is what usually give a difference between an ERP and an accounting system. So let us continue, and in order to understand what usually happen, I've decided to use a very simple case example. We'll be dealing with Kin1 Hardware Limited, which is buying and selling cement. So this buying and selling of cement, it will start here, where we shall go to our supplier, purchase the cement. After we purchase this cement being a stock item which is traceable, we will receive this cement into our stock. Then we will end up selling this cement. We invoice the customer, receive the payment, and do the accounting and tax. Now, so that we stop talking and not seeing what we are doing, now this is where now our work is really starting now, the practical work. So we shall assume that Kin1 Hardware needs 100 bags of cement. Then we shall go ahead and create a purchase order. Under that purchase order, it must have the supplier, the item, the quantity, the price, and expected delivery, which covers the lead time. So this module we shall cover on the purchase order. In order to create a purchase order, what we need to do, so just go ahead and get to the Acumatica ERP. So the ERP, let me use this multi-screen here so that I can access it easily. So this is how the ERP usually look like. So I can log out and then we log in and see how it looks like. So this is how when you install the Acumatica will look like. Then we need to sign in as admin, and then you need to sign in as admin and password, which is usually 123. Then sign in. But you can set your own password, but I usually choose this for simplicity. So when you log into Acumatica, you shall see this customer view workspace dashboards here, where you can be able to see the order in shipment, the rate orders, the open opportunity, the overdue opportunity. You can be able to see now how the business is operating by just using a dashboard. You can be able to see the total credit extended, the overdue, account receivable, and so open support cases which are getting into your business. So you can be able to track a lot of activities here by just using the dashboard. And to ensure that we don't divert on our main activity, our activity was to create a purchase order. So to create a purchase order, you can get the purchase order screen or sitemap by using two methods. You can either come here and search for purchase order, and you can see it here under the transaction. The purchase order is here, and come here and create new record for purchase order. Or alternatively, you can come under the menu item here, which is the purchase order, and then select the purchase order here. So when you create the purchase order, you can come here and add new record. Or alternatively, under purchases again, you can come here and click new. So this is something which is very simple. So in order to create a purchase order, as you can remember, based on our PowerPoint slide here, we are assuming that Kin1 Hardware needs 100 bags of cement, where we are to create a purchase order. So we need to create a purchase order of 100 bags of cement. So let us get back to our screen here, our purchase screen here, and then choose the vendor. So you need to choose the vendor or the supplier who will be selling this cement to us. So you want to get cement from hardware, as you know. So let me search the hardware where we get the cement. So you want to get cement from standard hardware companies. So no, I don't want to save. So okay, then what you need to do, basically you need to ensure that your date here is correct. That is the date which is already here, but as per now we are working with non-production system, but you should always notice the date when you are processing that purchase order. There is no any discrepancy in this date. As you can see, the date is here, but the better thing with an ERP, you can also be able to backdate this date, but this is a case which you understand as we progress. So I have already populated the date here, which is here. So this is the date which the order was made, and it was promised to be received also today in this case. So this is the difference between when the order was created and when the order is expected to get into the inventory of the customer. So we need to input the reference number of this order. We can say is SMT003. Then you need to enter the supply description. So the supply description is 100 bags of cement. After them, now you are good to go. So what do you need to do? You need to come here under the details and put the add a row where you shall put the detail line of the inventory item which you need to purchase. So in this case, the inventory ID here is the cement. So just come here and search for cement here. So you can see the description is Siba cement, which is here, which you want to purchase. So you need to enter the quantity which you need to purchase. Maybe we take a scenario of where you need to purchase 300 units of cement, where the unit cost of this cement is $5, but in this case we can change it rather than the default one to $10. And after that, you can see that now the extended cost is $3,000, because you can notice under the currency, the base currency is in US dollars. So to view the base currency, you can just click here and view the base currency is in USD. So from there, now you can go ahead and remove this purchase order from hold, where we are purchasing 300 unit of 300. Okay, in our case, we were to purchase record, we are purchasing 100 units of cement, not 300. But I just did it for just to ensure we are at the same page. So as you can see, according to our question, we are supposed to purchase 100 bags of cement. So that's why I have changed it to 100. So and now you can see the extended price have changed to $1,000. So from there, when you confirm everything, so you can see where we have the inventory ID, we have the line type, which is I can expand it a little bit because I'm using modern UI, which is good for inventory. So from them, as after you have reviewed and you have populated everything correctly here, so I'll take you through so that you can understand all these sections which are here. So I'll go ahead and we remove hold for this purchase order. So let us remove hold. So let us give it time to remove hold. So also you notice that the tax is showing 0 because we have not already set up the tax module in this dataset, which is actually what we are using now is Acumatica sales dataset, which is usually pre-loaded with Acumatica, because I'm using a localhost environment here, as you can see. So and I did us to remove hold, so we shall give a time to remove hold. So as you can see, we have removed hold, and this area is because I thought I have not clicked here. So you can see now this order is pending approval. So in Acumatica, we usually have approval map, so it is need maybe to be approved by purchase manager. So just approve it because I have the rights, because I have signed in as admin, but you should adjust this as we progress. Now we have already created our purchase order. And to know that we already have our purchase order, you can come under purchases and come to where we have. No, just a minute, because I didn't want to close this screen. Let me reopen it again. Okay, we can go ahead and come to where we have purchase orders. Let us give time for this screen to open because I'm using the localhost environment, so it will take some time. So you can see this is the order which we have processed now. As you can see, the date and the order quantity and the total order amount, which is 1,000 USD. So I can open this order here. So that is how you can be able to view the purchase order which you have already created. And now we are being requested to enter the PO receipt, the purchase order receipt. As you can notice under our PowerPoint, the process for which you are following, we have created a purchase order. And now, after creating a purchase order, step 1, under step 2, we need to receive the good. And to receive the good into our inventory, the supplier has already delivered the cement, and now we need to create a purchase receipt. So we create a purchase receipt when the supplier has already delivered us the cement to us. So to create a purchase receipt, we shall get back to the ERP again and choose to enter a PO receipt. So it is entering the PO receipt, so we give it time. So when we create a PO receipt, you can notice that right now the on-hand quantity is 300 units and the available quantity is this, and available for shipping is this. So we need to release this, and you notice that this amount will change here to 4. So I need to enter the reference number for this. Maybe I can put it as cement. That's why it is giving us error 003. Then we release, and you notice when we usually release these, when it comes to releasing of everything from purchase orders and sales order, when it is already released, you cannot be able to make any adjustments. You in order to make adjustment, you are supposed to take it back, or to take it back in hold, so that you can be able to make an adjustment. But I demonstrate to you what you need to do in case of these scenarios. But I wanted us first to observe now the quantity will change to 400 units, because we have already purchased the 100 units. So this is why we said an ERP usually work as an ecosystem. So one screen, they are not just screen. The one screen will affect the other screen, and you can notice here, this is the order. So it is normal order, put away, history, bill is here. This is the bill, so the bill has already been created, and when we click this, it will take us under the payable or account payables, so that we can under the bills and adjustments. So we can click here the bill, and you'll be able to see this. You see this screen under bills and adjustment, which falls under the where we can make the payment. But because I want us to follow the workflow which we have here for clarity, so we have already created a purchase receipt. So next, as I demonstrated, the receipt 7 become available in the inventory, where we can be able to track the inventory, the warehouse, the stock availability, the receipt, issue, and transfer. So we can be able to view here. You notice after we did this, the amount of these stock increased, and we were able to see that the stock increased to 400 from 400 units from 300 units. So we can continue with our demo again. Let me maximize this screen. So these record the supplier's bill. So the supplier set an invoice and record a supply bill in the account payable. So Acumatica track how much the business owes the supplier. So as you can see, when we get now to the payable screen, let me get back again, escape, and then I need us to see the payable screen here. I need to show you something here from this screen. Under the payable screen here, under the bills and adjustment, which is here, you can be able to see that it has already updated these bags of cement which we have bought, which are being billed by the supplier of this cement. So this is where we can make payment for these supply. So let me show you. This is where we can apply the payment for this supply. So we can choose to pay. So you just need to click pay. So it should just give you time to load. So this is the bill which you are creating, so we can pay. So we can be able to apply an amount maybe of 950 to this bill, and when we apply this amount, we will remove hold. We'll remove hold for this. So we can either print and process, or just choose to. So we can print and process here. So we can choose to process all. So, and now we can generate a check. So you can see that 950 has been applied to these supplier, to this bill, and that is what we usually check. And here, when we come back here, want us to get back to the bills. So let us come to where we have bills and adjustments again. But this was just a by the way, but I decided just to include it here, but hope it will not take a lot of our time. So under the bills, you can see the cement which are being built by the supplier had invoiced us. So let us give it time to open. So it is taking time, being a localhost environment, which is I'm operating in a straw machine. So that's why it is taking time. So under finance, you can be able to view the bunch of these, where you can be able to see the transactions which have taken place under the journal transaction. So you can be able to observe here and see how transactions. So you can see the account payable has been already been credited with 950. You can also see that the retainage amount has been applied here, where we have the retainage amount of 50, and then we have the inventory purchase account which has been debited with this amount. And that is how we usually observe the journal transactions which have taken place under the financials. So this is the whole analogy of this. So one purchase order, purchase receipt, then everything, when we make the payment and so on, you can see everything is affecting this ecosystem at a go. Just one transaction and every screen here is being affected. So this is why an ERP is usually so sensitive, and you need to be sure of what you are doing when operating with an ERP environment. So let us continue with our demo, so that, because this is just a demo, so that's why we are not getting granular about it, but we shall dive deep to all these modules when we continue with the sessions. So we shall now take a scenario where a customer goes ahead and places an order. So we can take a scenario where a customer orders 20 bags of cement. So we need, when a customer orders 20 bags of cement, being a stock item, we need to create a sales order. So when we create a sales order, this sales order will be emanating from our inventory, since he is purchasing stock item. So let us get started, where we have the customer, the item, the quantity, the selling price, and tax information. So let me escape and get back to the ERP and demonstrate to you what we mean by these. So we can come here and create a customer here under the bill. To create a customer or to create a sales order, you need first to have the customer. So I have not already created myself as a customer in this ERP. So first of all, we can create a customer. So to create a customer, you can come here and choose customer. So to create a customer profile first. So and I can be able to create my profile. So just create a customer here. So let us give a time here to open the customer screen. So you can see these are already created customers. So to create a customer, I can add a new record, or alternatively, I can come under receivables and come to where we have customer and create new. So there are different methods where you can access these sitemaps. That is what I wanted to demonstrate to you. You can either use the search area, this area under receivable, and create a customer. So it will take some time to create a customer, maybe here I can come here and take the customer ID. Maybe I can say is Keen KWH. Then the customer name I can use is the Keen one hardware. So we are creating a customer now, hardware limited. So the customer is active, so we need to choose the legal name, Keen one hardware limited. So we need to input their address. So we populated my address here. So there are other details which we need to populate. So let me get back to the screen again. I went out, so I need to get back to the screen again. So you need to enter some finance details here, and which are required. Then other things, let me check. We have the general ledgers. Okay, so after putting this one, we have already created a customer. So I didn't put a lot of detail. You can put the primary contact, the job title, and so on and so forth, and then I can save. So it's giving me an error, so I need to populate an email here. Let me populate my email here, which you can reach me using. So it's a good thing. Let me populate the email here. So we are doing it together, so don't worry. So I need to come here and put them, and under the bill there was an error, or it was the email error. Then I can save. So hopefully it will not give me another error now. So we have created a customer very easily. So you can put, though these are the settings of the customer which you can set up: the billing period, the shipment, the location. So these are some of the things which you can configure them how you wish to do them. But in this, because I'm doing a demo where we needed to create a sales order. So to create a sales order, what we said, you can come under the sales order and choose the sales order and create new. Or alternatively, you can come here under the search bar and search for sales order, and come here and select the sales orders, and it will take you to this screen, and you can come here and choose to create new. But in our scenario, I would prefer you can come here and choose new immediately instead of running the whole generic inquiry. Then you choose to create new. So let us create a new screen for sales order, because according to our PowerPoint, it was saying we need to create an order where a customer has ordered 20 bags of cement. So we need to sell these 20 bags of cement. So we need to create a sales order. So let us get back into our screen here so that we create that order here. So it is loading this screen. So it is taking time to load screen because what I have demonstrated to you, we are using a localhost environment, which is kind of slow because I think my machine is a bit lagging because of space problem, but we should be able to start and continue. So at the customer, so the customer who we have created a customer named as Keen1. We can just search Keen1 hardware. So the customer is here. So when you put the customer, all the details will populate here, the location and so on and so forth, the base currency, but you can change base currency depending on the location which you're operating. So you can change the base currency. Maybe if you are in Kenya, to be in Kenyan shilling, maybe in you are in Canada to Canadian dollars. Regardless of the area which you are, you can be able to do the adjustment. So what we need to populate is the customer order number. So the customer order number is cement. Maybe we can say it is SMS, which represents Siba cement, which we can give it a code of 001. Then we come here and enter the supply description. So the supply description is 20 bags of cement here. So we need to come here, and I will also go ahead and show you how after creating this sales order, it will affect the inventory item which are in our stock. So we shall come here and add a detail line here. after putting a detail line here, we shall just come here and let us give it time to load. It is taking time to load because I'm saying we are using the live system is not usually slow. It's because we are using our localhost environment, which we shall bear with it. So the inventory ID here. So we are dealing with cement, which we need to sell them. These are bags of cement. So the bags of cement which we want to sell, they are 20 bags of cements, but we shall just give it time. So you are put cement. So you can see that the on hand the amount on hand is 400 units, but we need to sell 20 units of 20 bags of cement. So just come here and click 20. So and the unit price of these bags of cement, you can be able to do it manually, or you can put it in a scenario where it automatically auto-populate here. So we can put it is $10 per bags of cement. So you can see now that the extended price, it is $200. From there, we can go ahead and but I will explain all these sections which are here when we proceed. This is because this is just a beginner's guide. So when you have done that, now you can come here and create shipment, but we usually have something we call quick processing, where to create shipment and go ahead, create and invoice the customer. And after invoicing a customer, it will create an invoice and then release the invoice. So but in this scenario, we shall create a shipment manually. So as you know, now we can back to the PowerPoint right here. You know that the next session, the next point was to ship the good to the customer's warehouse. So that's why we are coming here and creating a shipment from this, where how we are guided by the ERP. So we need to create a shipment from here after creating a sales order. So let us create a shipment. So you can see, so you can choose the shipment date. Do you want this good to be shipped today? So this is where the point of read time usually come. So in case you want this good to be shipped tomorrow, you shall take the tomorrow's date, which is 13th of July. So but in this case, I want to ship this good today and now. So I just click OK. So let us give a time to load. As you can know, you notice that when we have processed these 20 units, or these 20 units which we want to sell to the customer, the amount of the available at hand now will go back to 380. So this is how now it comes. When you affect one screen, you are affecting multiple screens in the ERP. That's why it works as an ecosystem which is interlinked. So let us create a shipment. Let us create a shipment here. So let us give a time. So it is executing. So when you see this, it tells you it is executing the shipment. So you can cancel the execution and the shipment will be cancelled. But we want it to process the shipment here, so that now we can be able to proceed. And after the shipment, as you know, we are starting from the sales order. We are making the sales order. We are coming to the shipment, and after now the shipment, we can be able to release the shipment, and after them, we go to the invoice, where we can be able now to invoice the customer because they have received the good in their warehouse. So it's just an ecosystem. It's just an ecosystem environment. So it is executing. So we should just give a time, as I said, because the system is usually faster. But bearing in mind we are using a localhost environment, this is something which you expect being non-production, and it is in trial basis. So let us give it time. So we can get back to the PowerPoint slide and see. So as you can see, we are making the sales. The sales will be going to the warehouse and then forming the inventory. So this is the complete. So this is where now we are shipping our good at last step 6. Hoping we are continuing, though I have added some steps here and there, which I thought they were necessary, so that we can have a clear picture of what we are dealing with. So we can get back to the ERP again. So it have taken quite some time to execute, but all in all, it will execute. So since it have taken like taken close to 2 minutes to execute, but let us give it time so that it executes. So the operation is done. So now let us take us into the next step after creating the shipment. So let us give a time to load, that it will take us to the next area where we shall go ahead and create an invoice. So I think we have taken longer than I expected. So after creating a shipment, so this shipment must be confirmed maybe by the logistic manager. So they need to confirm the shipment. So I am able to confirm, but I will show you the approval maps in the Acumatica. So it will take time. So this is an ERP, so it takes time to run an ERP. So because we have created some approval map, so we assume that now the logistic manager will confirm this shipment. So you can see, after now confirming the shipment, now we can now be able to prepare an invoice. So to prepare an invoice, so you can see the available is here. So it's already here, but I'll show you where the adjustment now will take place. So we need to go ahead and prepare an invoice. To invoice now the customer. So let us prepare an invoice. So an invoice is, as you can see, the chain of event. We are coming from the sales order. We have created the shipment. The shipment have been confirmed. And after confirming the shipment, now we are getting to preparing an invoice now, which we use to invoice the customer. So that is how the process usually look like. So let us now prepare an invoice. So it will not now take a lot of time here. So it will just be faster, so that we create that invoice now. So let us give it time. Just give it some seconds here and there, so that it will create an invoice for us. So an invoice has been created. As you can see, now an invoice, it is in balance status. So you can see the post date is this date. You can see the customer details. You can see the description, which has been carried forward from the sales order which we created. But you'll be able to understand this as we progress. The location is been. So from these invoice, you notice you cannot be able to adjust this quantity, because this quantity has been interlinked from when we created a sale order, when we created a shipment. So nothing can be able to do from here unless we backdate it from where we started. So you need to be careful when generating this, since one screen is affecting multiple screens here. Because we have moved from here, now we are creating an invoice. So we can hold it or release in case there is no error. So we shall get back and release. We can go back and release. So here you can be able also to see the cash due and the cash discount date, which is on so this is because these are credit customers. That's where you are seeing this information, because the as you can see, the terms is 30 days term, where the customer is supposed to make payment after 30 days, where they are given a discount. But I'll show you how we do these setups as we progress. As you notice, this is just a beginner guide of showing you what we are supposed to do, though I've tried to go somehow deep about it. So we are releasing an invoice. So after releasing an invoice, so the invoice will be released. So let us give it time to execute, so that we release this invoice. So the execution time, it is taking longer based on the SQL which I'm using to run these to run this database, and also my laptop is a bit sluggish as per now. So you can see now the invoice, now we have released it, and now it is open. So it can be applied now because it is open. So, and to print this invoice into a hard copy, you can come here in this area, and you can come here where we have print an invoice. So this is an add-on which I've added, which I had not decided to cover them in the demo. So you can see this is an Acumatica invoice, how it looks like, where we have the item, which is Ciba Cement, we have the quantity, which is 20, and we have the unit price, which is in USD, which is here. So under here, you can see the reference number, the date of the invoice, the due date, which is because it is taking 30 days payment due. Then you can see the customer ID, which is KWH, which is the abbreviation of Key in One Hardware. Then you can come to where we have the currency, the USD, the email of the customer, the location, and ship to. So you can be able to see all these in our invoice, which you have printed. So get back to the invoice area. So under the invoice area, also I wanted to demonstrate to you another thing under this section. You can also be able to mail this invoice to your customer automatically. You can also create an automation schedule where immediately you release this invoice, the customer will be notified through an email. So you can be able to do. That's why I am saying you can be able easily to differentiate between an ERP system and an accounting system. So let us email these to our customer. So let me choose email, and it will automatically create an email which you can send to your customer and they can receive it in their email. So let us give it time. Though I know the video will take longer than I expected, but time is here with us, so we can actually work. So as you can see, these let us give it time. Let us give it time to create an email for us. So the problem, so when we set these taxes, the tax module and the tax zone and so on, you shall be able to see you and shall be able to demonstrate to you how the tax calculation is taking place. Then under the financials, before we set these, I would like us to first demonstrate to you the financials which have been created. This is where you can be able to observe the general ledgers. So let me open it here so that we can be able to see what is happening here. The general ledgers. So as you can see, the account receivables here has been debited by $200, where the account where the sales revenue has been credited with this now $200 of silver cement. So these are the general ledgers. So under the general ledgers, you know they lie under the finance side of the ERP. So this is why we are saying the Acumatica is interlinked with all these parts. They are all of them interlinked. So they are all of them interlinked. They are all of them interlinked. So this is where I was suggesting about the approval map, but I wanted first to show you the email invoice, and hopefully it will open now. I wanted to demonstrate to you. So let's see. So when it fails, I demonstrate it later because it is failing me. So this is a demo which you do where I show you where you can even prepare a business event which you email this invoice to the customer immediately you create this invoice. So we can continue with our session here. So we have created the customer invoice, as you can see. Then the invoice record the amount which customer owes. So under the account receivable. So you can be able to view this, what we have done under the account receivables. So let me show you for just so under account receivables, you can come to where we have the invoice and memo, and you can easily see this invoice which we have created. You can notice that we started creating it from the sales order menu, and now the invoice is here. This is the invoice. You can get it from invoice and memos here. We can open it so that you confirm. What is happening. So we can open it from this session. And this similar invoice is already, you can be able also to get it at the invoices where we have sales order. So it is here. As you can notice, this is our invoice which is open to application, which is here. The due dates are here. The description is here, 20 bags of cement. So I can go ahead and open a duplicate window here and show you something. Okay, I need to come here at the memos and I need to duplicate this screen. Let me close some screens here. So as we are duplicating, I wanted to show you something else. So you can be able to view this invoice again under the sales order, under the invoices. Under the invoices. So these appears both in the receivable side and in this area. And in this area, invoices, it is here. And we have now this one which is under the invoices and memo. So bearing that in mind, so it is here, as you can see, the same details, they are here, so you can be able to access them in these two menus here. But this is because it deals with this captures both the invoice and memos. It can capture both the stock and non-stock item here, and you can be able to apply some credit memos and debit memos. And but here you can be able to reverse and correct this invoice. So, but I'll get deep on this when we continue. So let us continue also. So we can come here now, and now Acumatica can calculate tax based on configuration rule, but I have not done this configuration. So this is where we shall be able to set up a tax category, a tax zone, a tax ID, and the tax rate. And also we shall be able to create a vendor as a tax agent so that you can be able to understand how we usually treat the revenue authority in the ERP system, since you need to do that setup. So I'll demonstrate to you that. So these we introduce our future Acumatica tax module series now, which you'll be able to do it. That's why I don't want it to confuse you now. So we need to understand the financial impact. So as we demonstrated here, you can see that accounts affected may include the sales revenue area, the account receivable, the inventory, the cost of goods sold, and the tax account. So the transaction connect to the general ledgers. So all these transactions are connected to the GL, the general ledger account. So when we continue, you can see that under step 10, we have the receive customer payment. This record a customer payment and apply it to the invoice. So when a customer has made a payment, so we need to record that payment. That is where we say the customer payment, where the customer balance is received when they make the payment, and the cash the cash in back end is updated. So these affect the cash management area. So this is under the step 10, where we can get back to our ERP again and come under the receivable, where we have payment and application. So under the payment and application, so this is where we usually apply the customer payment. So we can come here and maybe apply and do an application of a payment here against an invoice. So we can choose the customer. So we can take a customer. You can take a customer like Keen One Tech, Keen One Tech Limited. We can treat this as our customer. So when you treat this as our customer, so you can see the details have been applied here. So we can choose the amount to be paid. So we can assume we had ordered 20 bag which were going, so we can say maybe they apply 150. This is the amount paid. So we can come here and put the amount paid here as 150. We can choose to release this invoice. I forgot to write the separate description here. The description here. So we have applied that payment. So you can come here the financials and build the financials which have been done here. So let us open. So you can see that the company checking account has been debited with this amount, whereas the debtor, the account receivables, have been credited with this amount. So reducing the customer balance with Keen One Hardware Limited. So this is how we can be able to apply payments, but I didn't want to get deep on this. So this is affecting the account receivable and the cash management area. So we can go to the next section and understand the complete business process flow, as you saw what we did. So we created a purchase order. We created a purchase receipt which affected the inventory, the supplier's bill which is affecting the account payable, the sales order which is to shipment, the customer invoice, the account receivable, and the customer payment affecting the general ledgers and taxes. So this is one process with multiple departments, where the purchasing, we order good, the warehouse, we receive and ship the stock, the sale, we process the customer order, under finance, we record bills, invoices, and payment, under account, we review the financial impact, and under tax, we apply tax rules. So why ERP integration matters? So where ERP integration matters, it is a one source of business data. It gives us real-time information. It helps us to avoid a lot of duplicate entries. It better the transaction tracking. It improves the financial visibility. It is better for tax and report control. So importance Acumatica concept is that we enter, we process, we release, and we post to the general ledgers. So what does this mean? We enter the business document, we process the transaction, we release the document, and now the financial impact flows to the accounting. Now that's why now the accounting system has been coming on. So that is because the accounting system is already integrated in the ERP. The takeaway notes is that Acumatica connect business transaction across modules and department, where we move from purchase to inventory to sales and finance and to tax. So this is one connected business process. So in the next video now, having navigated under the Acumatica business flow, now we'll see the workspaces, the menus, the search, and the screen. So you can, in order you continue receiving tutorials like this, you can subscribe to the Keen One Tech, where we learn Acumatica ERP step by step rather than getting to the notes and starting learning. So I have decided to start it under the first phase, which is the introduction area. So that's why I'm not diving deep on what it means and some of the generic inquiries supporting those screens. So, but in the next video, now I would like us to focus on the workspace, menu, search, and screen. So let us meet in the fifth part of this video, phase 1, where now we shall be able to cover this and you have a clear picture of what really Acumatica means. So in order to reach us, you can reach us using the contact in the description and also using my personal email, which is also in the description of this video. In case you need to have this ERP with you, you can reach me at a personal level under my contact and also using my email, where we can organize a session and demonstrate to you where you can be able to install this ERP. I've already attached a link below this video, which is showing you how you can download Acumatica and install it into your gadget. So basically, thank you for watching. In case you have any query, put it in the comment section or reach me at a personal level so that we learn together an ERP, and immediately you grasp this ERP, any other ERP will be a walk in the park. So thank you for watching, and let us meet into the part 5 of this course.